So Pokemon has been around for a long time, having quite the long history, and despite being so far ahead in the games, they like to have a few nods to the much older games, whether it's bringing back old characters, references in modern games, or, milking Generation 1. They really like giving fans nostalgia, but the one thing they like to do most is making a remake. But nowadays, things have seemed to change, and Game Freak are taking a slightly different approach for their legacy. Which begs the question, what is the future of Pokemon Remakes? It's time to discuss this. Firstly, I'm going to explain what a Pokemon Remake is to those who don't understand much about Pokemon. If you already know, feel free to skip to the next chapter. Now, a remake is essentially a newer, upgraded version of the original game, and here's how it's made. First, we take the original game. Then, we add the updated graphics. Following that, we put a dash of new content in, and then we add a bit of current modern features to it. Give it all a mix, and voila! We have a Pokemon remake. So to explain the current state of remakes, let's rewind a bit. After the release of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, there was a huge cult following for Generation 4 remakes. So big that there was the walking ferret on an escalator. May he rest in peace. And we eventually did get our remakes, so people were happy. Or were they? You see, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were quite disappointing, to say the least. Unlike the previous remakes, this one was basically a carbon copy of the original. And I'm not kidding, a miswritten code in Diamond and Pearl that was fixed in Platinum is in BDSP. So obviously, people weren't that happy, but in fairness, this game was not developed by GameFreak. Rather, the company Ilka made those games. The reason being that GameFreak wanted to focus on a different game, Pokemon Legends Arceus. While the Pokemon Presents announced BDSP, they followed along with announcing Legends Arceus in the process. Now to many fans, they noticed how it also followed along with the Gen 4 trend, seeing the native Pokemon and character design was similar. And upon release, it had the opposite effect. Many fans, including myself, enjoyed playing this game. It had an amazing story, interesting gameplay, multiple things to do, and had a world that allowed you to explore around. But the one thing that really stood out was how much respect it showed to the original Gen 4 games, giving us remixed versions of popular soundtracks, showing nods to iconic characters, and setting up a time in which it all began. And with this game, it has created such a dilemma now to many people. The dilemma I'm referring to is, what does Game Freak plan on doing with Generation 5? It's no secret that Game Freak wants to do something in regards to Unova, but what is the best approach for them to make this? One side wants them to stick to tradition and create a remake, while the other side wants them to make a Legends game or something new. For me, I personally think that a Legends game would be amazing, because we get to learn more things about Unova's past. More specifically, the origin dragon and what Genesect was before it became a machine. However, if Game Freak does not make another remake, then they are truly dead. So because of this current state of making games right now, will remakes still happen, or will they become a memory of our time? What do you all think? Should the black and white games be given a remake, or should they have their own unique game that has a different story? Let me know down below, and I will see you next time. Cheerio, everyone.
Soon, you will be ready.